speakers today. They have been holding workshops with school groups in Ottawa, school groups of all ages for the past 14 years. The very act of their working together makes a great statement in and of itself. Dr. Aisha Sherazi was born and raised in the UK and migrated to Ottawa in 2000. She was the former principal of the Muslim Association of Canada's Agrar School. The school fosters the memorization of the entire Holy Quran, along with academic learning, including the Ottawa curriculum. She is a spiritual care worker at Maryville High School. She is part of the Muslim Leaders Working Group with imams here in Ottawa. She is also a freelance writer. I'm not sure where her spare time is, but for the Ottawa Citizen. She lives in a 4-generation home and is married with 2 busy children. We're honored to have Dr. Sherazi today, along with Rabbi Menachem Blum, who was born and raised in Paris, France. In 1997, with his wife Diana, he founded the Ottawa Torah Center Shabbat, a non-profit organization dedicated to providing Jewish social and educational programming in Ottawa. A newly constructed and lovely synagogue and community center built in Barhaven became their permanent home in 2014. In 2014 also, Rabbi Blum received the City of Ottawa Mayor's City Building Award, a civic honor that recognizes individuals who have demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to making Ottawa a better place for today and for the future. His outreach work includes interfaith dialogue, addressing issues of diversity and integration within the Ottawa region in collaboration with the Ottawa Carleton District School Board and other community institutions. It is my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Blum and Dr. Sherazi as our guest speakers here today. Please join me.
We're used to sharing the mic, so we're going to display that today as well. Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting us to speak with you today. Aisha and I have known each other for about 15 years, and we've been working together in schools, trying to share the importance of not judging a book by its cover, and the importance of getting to know someone.
The work itself is very rewarding, and we've been blessed to meet students from across the city, from rural communities to inner city schools.
Regardless of where we go, students and staff are intrigued. What are Rabbi and Muslim women doing, walking together, talking to each other, and presenting a unified message together?
Don't worry, we aren't going to tell you a joke about a rabbi and a Muslim woman walking into a bar.
You know, friends, we're living in difficult times. And it is in times like these that I often recall the words of Rabbi Aisha, who lived in the 1800s in Lithuania. He related the following story. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, and as an older man, I tried to change my family. if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on our town. Their impact could have changed the nation, and I could indeed have changed the world.
Working on ourselves and our families is very important. With everything that's happening in the world, it's important that we extend the boundaries of our family to our neighbours and our community, and those who are willing to accept our differences and work towards a common goal. In thinking about that concept, we remembered a story that many of you will be familiar with.
It's called the mousetrap.
A mouse looked through the crack in the wall to see the farmer and his wife open a package.
What food might this contain, the mouse wondered. He was devastated to discover there was a mouse hole.
Retreating to the farmyard, the mouse proclaimed a warning. "There's a mouse trap in the house! There's a mouse trap in the house!"
The chicken clucked and scratched, raised her head and said, "Mr. Mouse, I can tell this is a great concern to you, but it is of no consequence to me. I cannot be bothered by it."
The mouse turned to the cow and told him, "There's a mouse trap in the house! There's a mouse trap in the house!" The cow sympathized but said, "I'm very sorry, Mr. Mouse, but there's nothing I can do about it but pray. Be assured, you are in my prayers."
The mouse turned to the horse and said, "There's a mouse trap in the house. There's a mouse trap in the house." The horse said, "Wow, Mr. Mouse, I'm sorry for you, but it's no skin of my nose."
So the mouse returned to the house, head down and dejected, to face the farmer's mousetrap alone.
That very night, the sound was heard throughout the house, like the sound of a mousetrap catching its prey. The farmer's wife rushed to see what was caught. In the darkness, she did not see it was a venomous snake whose tail the trap had caught. The snake bit the farmer's wife. The farmer rushed her to the hospital, and she returned home with a fever.
Now everyone knows you treat a fever with fresh chicken soup. So the farmer took his action to the farmyard for the soup's main ingredient, but his wife's sickness continued. So friends and neighbors came to sit with her around the clock. To feed them, the farmer butchered his cow.
The farmer's wife did not get well. She died. So many people came for her funeral. The farmer had to sell the horse to the cruelest farmer in the region to pay for her burial.
The mouse looked upon it all from his crack in the wall with great sadness.
We've worked together for almost 2 decades now, trying to help students and educators realize that there are many things that we share and many things that we have in common. Sometimes they are obvious, at other times they seem unrelated.
We ask students to guess where we are from without speaking to them or telling them anything about ourselves.
So Aisha is usually a Muslim woman who speaks Arabic and comes from the Middle East.
I don't speak Arabic, by the way. Rabbi Blum is a Jewish man who comes from Israel and speaks Hebrew.
And as per the introduction, now you know that I was born and raised in Paris, France, and so when I speak to the students in Parisian French, it's quite a surprise. How others perceive us is shaped deeply by what we see around us, what we hear on the news, and increasingly for young people, what they see online on social media.
Each time there is a conflict in the Middle East, we find that our own communities are in turmoil.
We try to teach others that we may not agree with each other about everything, but our disagreements do not define us.
It is possible that life may never fully go back to how it was before October 7th.
We may not know exactly what that world will look like, but the way we behave and our service to each other will have a significant impact on shaping our new worlds.
world where feeling scared, lost, and confused doesn't have to be so much of a desperately lonely place to live in. Because we will have learned to share those feelings with each other and know that we always have a caring heart listening.
A world where we give soothing, comforting, and invigorating energies with our presence, uplifting others, and making them feel good about themselves.
A world where we freely encourage, motivate, and inspire each other in bringing out our full potential and following our dreams without causing harm to anyone in the process.
A world where, when we find ourselves in a position to help someone, we are filled with joy by being the instrument through which their prayers are answered.
We don't pretend to have all the answers and don't know how realistic all of this even is.
But we do believe that experience and facing hard times are the best education in learning valuable life lessons.
If we at least try to use this time of crisis to strengthen our understanding of ourselves and for all humanity, that regardless of our living conditions, remember that we all have plans, needs, responsibilities, and we all have desires, fears, and hopes, and support each other, even with a small act of kindness or service, then we might step into a new world that is better than before, one that will create from what we will learn.
There is no right or wrong answer. There is only our own answer.
If we want to see a change happen, we must be part of making that change happen. We both know that this is a very hard time. For some, it's harder than others.
As human beings, we have more strength and ability than we sometimes think possible, and are incredibly capable of overcoming the most difficult times when we put our own mind and heart into something, even when they seem insurmountable. In the process, merely taking responsibility for our actions and how they may affect others near and far, this can make a huge difference in the world.
Only the seeds we sow today will determine the kind of fruit we will reap tomorrow. Imagine the abundance of the sweetest fruit of compassion we all share and enjoy with each other if we all commit to it together.
At a time when the world is so polarized, we cannot assume that other people's problems do not impact us. The Mousetrap story reminds us about this very clearly.
We hope that organizations like the Multi-Faith Housing Initiative can help us focus on the things that can be done together. Despite our differences, we can work together to help others in need in our community.
In the words of Gandhi, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Thank you for listening.
Dr. Sherazi and Rabbi, thank you so much for your good words today. We really need to hear more about physically see people in better space working together. We're grateful. Many of